Okay, let's do this Blaze TV thing, and then we'll. I don't know if we'll have time. You know what, guys? I'm sorry, we're not gonna have time for another call because I really wanted to get to this clip. So many apologies. I'm turning on the voicemail. Um, I think this is. Wait. Oh, hold on. Yeah, this is the one. This is the one. So here is Blaze TV's Isabella Riley, and I believe that Isabella Riley had something to do with, and can you confirm this, the drag sting operation?
Yeah, she was one of the people who went in.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And reported on it and took video and stuff like that from a right-wing perspective to stoke this ridiculous moral panic that came out because, a bunch of parents decided, by the way, really want to stress that parents decided, right-wing doctrine right there.
Parental choice.
Yes. Parents decided to take their children to what was like a PG rated drag show during the daytime.
It was a talent
Pride.
competition, and there's dancing and costumes. I said on the show the other day, it's like the equivalent of taking your kid to a Broadway play, but because it's a drag show, there's got to be like a moral panic about it, as you say. And I tweeted about it. I'm being called a groomer. Probably
I
by
got it. Trust me, I got it.
I'm sure you got it too. Like this is the latest just escalation of the anti-trans, anti-gay rhetoric in this country. Exposing your kids to gay people or trans people is the equivalent of grooming them like you're a pedophile. And here is Blaze TV's Isabella Riley, who went undercover at the voluntary kids talent drag show in Dallas, speaking about grooming and sexual abuse and claiming that if you were a victim of sexual abuse, if you were groomed, then maybe you should be locked up because you might become a groomer/abuser in the future.
So when they're honest, they'll concede it, but they'll have to dress it down. No, I was just like born like this. Nothing bad happened to me. I swear, nothing bad happened. I just am like this because this is how God made me. It's a total code.
Should we lock up people that have had sexual trauma in their childhood because they tend to become abusers in the future?
Well, statistically, that's like they say that it's not really true. Like that abuse patterns don't continue, and maybe in sexual capacity it does, but like with physical abuse or things like that. Because if that did happen, then over society it would repeat and repeat and repeat, and then everybody would be abused. So I don't think that's true. I do think that we should bring back some form of like institutionalizing people who are out of their mind to clean up our homeless problem.
We jail the most people of any nation on earth.
Yep. Yeah, for homeless too. Yeah.
But I think that we do need to get like these people help, or at least shame them into wanting to get their own help.
I like shame more than helping them, to be honest.
I've been saying the shame thing forever. Healthy levels of shame needs to be brought back to society. I think I said it on here like 20 million times. Shame serves a purpose. It's a driver for action.
At you guys. Shame.
I really, really appreciate them saying multiple parts of that out loud. It's bookended, honestly. One, they want to shame gay people or trans people into either suicide or being back in the closet so they don't have to think about them anymore. And they just were explicit about it there, too. Also, the added bonus of, like, let's lock up more homeless people for the crime of being homeless. And at the beginning, though, that host there says, the male host, he says that basically they say we were born this way. But really, they're the victims of grooming, probably, abuse, and of abuse. So what that means is, they're claiming they're protecting children from abuse. But yet, if you do end up getting victimized, it's kind of your fault, and we might preemptively institutionalize you so you don't do it to other people. What they're saying here is that gay people should be in institutions and trans people should be in institutions.
Going back to the good old days of American healthcare and American social problem solutions. I mean, it's striking how many shows
out too. I mean, we should even brought it. Sorry, but I just want to say we should even broaden that out too. I mean, they literally said anyone who is sexually abused. That doesn't just mean people in the LGBTQ community. They want literally anyone who had some sort of trauma as a child to be locked up. That's what she was saying. Go ahead, Brandon. I'm sorry.
No, I mean it's striking. I'm just amazed at how many shows there are like this out there, where like just like indistinguishably like interchangeable hosts say like the worst things you could possibly think of, and then tell you like that if you call them an asshole online, that you're trying to cancel them or you're not open to free speech. It's just like a very good grift. But I would imagine that they're just generally not sympathetic to abuse. Like we saw from the right wing during the Me Too movement and any subsequent abuse, in kind of an airing we've had about abuse regarding like Kavanaugh, et cetera, in the past recent years, that they're just, not open to it. So I think that this is just another like arrow in that quiver of disliking people who, even speak out against abuse, because within like their, right wing doctrine, like women can't be abused by men because they're the property of men.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's funny too that you don't really hear much about the institutions that they undoubtedly support, like the church, which has systematically presided over and covered up abuse of children for decades and decades and decades. That is like a real engine of child abuse and pedophilia in this country. And
Shows like this will still have on like Matt Gaetz and still be like, well, you can't. I don't want to prejudge Matt Gaetz. He just has a case out against him. But like, if they see a drag show, like they're able to discern with their like pedophile senses whether or not it's whether or not someone's being groomed there. It's very it's very stark how willing they are to speak out of both sides of their mouth in pursuit of like the most graven future for all of us.
Yeah. Also, if we bring shame back, there might be a lot more comments about Isabella's makeup, but I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, move on.
Oh, as someone who's notably like I hate makeup and I'm bad at it, I feel free. She deserves it. She deserves it.
I mean, she's got like you go on her Instagram, she's got like a red stripe down the middle of her face. It's
Contouring gone bad.
Everyone's going with the Elizabeth Holmes thing now. That's what's hot. It's what's popping in the streets. You've shown yourself to not be like with it anymore, Matt.
It's like she puts a piece of paper over her chin and her forehead, and someone just sprays paints the middle of her face. But...
Speaking of the double speak from these guys too, one of the conservatives who called me a groomer because I was defending the idea that you can take a child to a drag show as a parent, and he called me a groomer. And this is James Lindsay, the CRT guy who's probably most well known for going on the Dr. Phil show and looking like he was about to cry while blabbing on about how CRT is the bad. Well, he actually has a picture of him hanging out with Nikki Klein, the former Battlestar Galactica actress who was part of the Nexum sex cult, whose leader Keith Raniere. Nexium, yeah, whatever they were called. The NXIVM. I forgot how you pronounce it.
It's Nexium.
I thought it was an Nexium. I watched the whole like documentary about it.
Oh, really? Well, then
I think it's pronounced really like. I mean, I might be wrong. I watched the whole like documentary and then like the Lifetime movie because like I was into Smallville and Allison Mack was involved. So
I was also into Smallville. Yes.
Right. Well, he's hanging out with Nikki Klein, and who also, by the way, she wasn't just a member of the sex cult. She's out there still to this day. Defending the leader of the cult, Keith Raniere, who is in jail. I believe he's been sentenced to 120 years for a myriad of different abuse charges, including sex trafficking and sexual abuse of a child. But yeah, talk about projection, right? These are the guys who are out there calling people groomers, yet they're literally hanging out with people who who are part of sex cults that abuse children.